Welcome. This is the Drupal usability meeting for August 16th, 2024. I'm Benji Fisher moderating, and also here are two of our regulars, Ralph Kohler, who's sharing his screen, and Simo Helston. Go ahead, Ralph.
We are looking at issue number 2895832, move field list and views plugin pages from reports to structure. Yeah, as the title already implies, the issue is about moving. At the moment, the field lists and views plugins are under reports. Oops, I go over here. As you can see, field list and views plugins, and the plan for this issue is about moving it over to structure. And 1 second, I'll quickly show what Quiet One asked about. Yeah, hi folks, I'm trying to figure out if this issue should be closed in preference to one of the issues listed in comment number 19. That is comment number 19. Yeah. Allow a user to add display modes from respective field UI, or new users have difficulty finding where to adjust the content model. Or the other one is emphasize the most important items in the structure page. Yeah, and I have to note in that comment number 19, Yoroi already pointed out an opinion I also share. Every page under structure provides basically the ability to alter the site's information structure, while all the pages listed under reports have the sole purpose of providing some sort of information about the site and or its structure. And by moving those two pages over, the separation of concern would be sort of diluted. Plus, in the proposed solution in the views plugins. And yeah, the one detail to note about the suggestion is also, if field list and views plugins get moved over, that list over here is technically sorted alphabetically, and therefore for views it's in close proximity to the views menu item, while the fields, which should belong to content types, is not in close proximity. You would have display modes in between.
And that's in English. Who knows what order it would be in for other languages.
Exactly. But already in English, it is suboptimal. So that's basically the issue. Any questions?
So are we suggesting that we close the issue in favor of one of the others, or just close it as don't fix?
That's the question.
Or it works as designed.
Yeah, so I'm sort of convinced by the argument that the structure menu has a whole bunch of forms where you're allowed to add fields to a content type, add a content type, do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the field list is purely informational. There's nothing you can do from that page, is there?
Exactly. It's just, yeah, the only slight exception is status report where you're able to run a cron. That's the only actionable item, but aside that, it's pure, yeah.
Okay, available updates, you can do stuff. Log messages is purely informational.
Field list is completely informational. Top pages is informational. Top search phrases as well as use plugins. To me, it feels wrong to overlap and move those over. It's doesn't feel right. From my perspective, a more reasonable approach might be, I see the point that this is useful information, and someone new to Drupal might struggle to even know that that kind of list or overview page exists. So maybe the better choice might be in the context of, for example, a content type, when you are on managed fields, having maybe a link pointing to the reports page. So in context, you can jump over something like that, instead of moving the entire page over.
So does anyone want to play devil's advocate? Does anyone want to say what the arguments are in favor of moving it? What does it say in the issue summary? Does it give any strong arguments for that?
Argument in the issue summary. The field list and used in views page lists all fields with a link to the entity of views that uses them. The views plugin page links to all the views that use them. Both are useful resources for users working with fieldable entities of views. With the exception of the user accounts, these are all located under structure in the admin menu, but the list pages are located under reports. Other report pages are more about the kind of changing information that is required on a production side, while these log pages are a tool during site building. Users might not expect these site building resources under reports and therefore miss out. Yeah, definitely also a point.
Right. So I guess there are two different personas. There's the site builder and the site administrator.
Yeah.
And it's true that someone who's monitoring the site, looking for log messages, 404 errors, site status report, is not interested in these two. And someone who's building views, creating content types, and other entity types would be more interested in them. So I think that's a valid point.
But on the other hand, the proposed resolution collides with, semantically, let's put it that way. That, as we've noted before, the structure is more about actively altering the information structure and nothing informational there at this point.
I think because a person changing the structure also has the other reports maybe update status, maybe status report for some information. So like probably there is kind of that person sees the reports as well and is probably more or less used to checking reports. Yeah, I think how they are used is more important than by whom they are used.
Let's also look at the history or look at the comments since Yoroi commented in number 19. Like how much discussion is there after that of whether it's a good idea or not, or is it just the typical people applying patches and making screenshots and stuff?
No discussion at all. Just the screenshot and patch people. We might take a quick look at the issues mentioned in 19. Those provide an idea. From 2012. Oh, and we are looking at issue number 2721727, allow users to add display modes from respective field UIs, which slightly goes in the same direction as what I've suggested as a compromise. Maybe, oops, where I was, adding in the context of, for example, managing fields, a link to the reports page for fields, and in the context of views, adding a link to the views reports page. That might be one thing. Then next issue was 1440678. New users has difficulty finding where to adjust the content model. And 2518960 emphasize the most important items on the structure page. That issue would be about reordering and not make the order on the importance and not on an alphabetical sort order. That would, in air quotes, solve one of the issues if those two reports pages would be moved over, we've mentioned before. But still,
So we've talked in the past about ways to add links between different admin pages.
Yep.
And I think we sort of need a comprehensive solution to that. We need a structure for that, like a standard place to put those links, some sort of API for specifying them. I don't know offhand if we have an issue to do something like that. Do you recall anything?
Aaron opened one where he suggested that interlinking initially. I can try to look it up. after the meeting, because at the moment it would be too distracting. Or maybe I manage it. 1 second.
So from a general sort of project management point of view, I think that Drupal suffers from the fact that no one has the authority to close an issue really, because someone thinks it's a good idea and someone might want to work on it. And I think that we should be more willing to close issues when we think they're not a good idea. I think that is one of the functions of this team. And I think that based on Yoroi's comment some years ago, and we basically agree that yes, it's a good idea to give site builders another way to access those pages, but this is probably not the right way to do it. I think we should close this issue.
I agree.
Yep, me too. I just made a few notes and I can comment later on the issue. So technically, yeah, we are in line with Yoro's points, and I'll add also the point about, yeah, give site builders another way to access, but that's not the right way, and mention the maybe creating some sort of API and interlink to the reports pages.
Right. Yeah, let's do that.
And I was unable to find it quickly. Aaron's issue, I have to search Slack after the meeting. Okay. Have you been able to check out the feature branch, Benji?
Yeah, I posted a link in the Zoom chat.
Oh, perfect. But then oops.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you've posted it SVG.
I accidentally, right? Copied the link, not the I copied the image, not the link. Here we go.
That can be closed. That can be closed. Oh, or wait a second. Oh no, we don't have it. Oh, it doesn't. Now log in. Admin.
Here, I pasted the issue into the Zoom chat in case you have too many tabs open.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you got it.
I already have it open. Is the toolbar installed? Or the navigation?
Navigation.
Of course, I don't see it. as you can see. Yep, not available.
Cleared caches, see if that helps. I see the navigation.
Can I reload? Oh, no. Okay. Okay. The next issue is 2648816. Uploaded files are impossible to replace. That issue is basically, if you go to media, is adding. Oops, oh no, I have to go there. The patch seems not to be applied right now.
I checked out the merge request.
Because you would have a drop button here.
Two six four eight eight one six. Is there more than one merge request on that issue?
No, it's just that single one, 8195.
So are you looking at media or files?
In files. As you can see here, it is suboptimal, but we could just base the discussion on the two screenshots. That would work as well. I've manually tested and can provide some more context. Yeah, because that merge request is somehow odd. Just for context, I run into the following error when I do a git checkout. And that's happens also on a completely fresh instance where I have run no test, nothing out of the box. And if I do a git status -u or a git status, it's a clean tree before, and git checkout, I get that.
Is that before or after Composer install?
I have no
Generally,
Composer installed. It's git paste only. Or one second. I mix things up right now. Oops. No. Have I done it? Yeah, basically my setup is the following.
we're just seeing a blank screen at the moment.
Yeah, it was on other. Those are the steps. I do a ddef config, then a ddef composer create with the composer template from Joachim, then a ddef config update, restart, then ddef get of the just a fish, adjust it, plugin and then a data freeze. I'm not sure right now if the add-on has a composer install in it, but yeah, a composer install is run before when, in case, I guess.
Well, I think the problem is you're not doing this in a blank directory. Try the command I pasted in above, git clean -df core.
Drupal, git status. Yeah, okay, that one just got added because I opened VS Code. 1 second. Status. Yeah. And shall I try the checkout again?
Yes.
No.
All right, try the git clean command again, but this time make it -dfx.
That way?
Yes.
No.
Well, that's really weird.
Yep.
How about just removing that directory entirely? Remove -rf and then copy and paste core module system tests, module driver test, source driver database.
That way?
Yeah, but back up to do the whole directory.
Oh, that way?
And then back up one more. Yeah.
Oh.
And try a git status.
Yeah. Huh. Wild. That is a bit above my understanding. Oh, that is this. Oh. Now I have to upload. Go back. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. Apologies. That error was really confusing. Point is, the issue, as we've seen before, we just had the delete button. Now we have a file here, Kirby JPEG, and now it's a drop button. We have one option, the default one, edit, and the delete that was previously there. And if we click on edit, we get to that edit Kirby JPEG with replace file. And I just demonstrated, oops, desktop. I'll pick another one, save, and I'll get the uploaded file Kirby. Name does not match the existing file Kirby. So you have to have the exact name. I'll do that again. I rename the other one to Kirby test and rename the Kirby, oops, 00 I had here with as you can see, it's now a different one. Save. And now it works. And as you can see, the old one became temporary, while the new one got the permanent status. That's the as-is state of the patch.
Actually, I think the new one got uploaded as a temporary file as Kirby 0000.
No, that's the new one.
Okay, and what's
And oh, that is not found anymore. Oh no, the Kirby 00 was the file I first tried with a different name. And that name, now I understand it. I ran into that before, but I never really knew what was causing the temporary status. But it's technically all the files you try to upload with a different name that fail, that remain in that list then. Okay, I'll make another note.
okay? So this is a feature that a lot of people ask for.
Yeah.
It's implemented in a way that we're not overriding any default behavior. So this should not be disruptive. And we are giving people the option to do something that, again, a lot of people have requested. So I don't see any fundamental problems. I kind of think that once you click on that edit button, it should not care what the name of the newly uploaded file is. I think it should be willing to upload and replace the and change the name.
Yep. That is
match.
also one of my points. So that the user shouldn't run into that error at all. And you shouldn't have the hassle to rename your file up front exactly to the file you want to replace. Instead, you simply select the file and let Drupal do the replacement and the name juggling.
So you and I agree on that. Simo, do you agree?
Yeah, but just something, I'm not sure if it was tested before, it just came to my mind. Does that replacing the file, does that respect possible limits, file size limits and dimensions limits? And how does it respond to the dimensions? Yeah.
No, it does not. 1 second, I'll demonstrate. That is a point I already have on my list. Quickly, let's say my Kirby test here is 576 by 768. I'll upload that first. Image Kirby test, save. Then we go into structure, media types, image, manage fields, edit, and let's say we set the maximum image dimension to 600 by 600. For the reference, the Kirby image I will upload now or replace the image with now is the following, and that has 919 T8 by 983. And I'll rename that one again. To match the name, we go back to files. Oops, go to edit. Choose. Oops, no, copy test. That one. Upload. Save. And got replaced. I just dragged it over, and as you can see, yeah, 900 by 908. So it is not respecting constraints.
I'm thinking because I just last week, or was it this week, last week, I made a patch for about that resize reject issue for already for 12.2 because 10.2 because there was a case when too large dimensions ended up giving like making this server run out of memory when doing the different image styles. So this is something that could possibly cause errors if the image is too large for the memory limits on PHP on a specific server. So I think that's can cause problems if it's not somehow handled, checking the dimensions.
Yep.
Yeah, there are sort of technical and usability issues with respecting those limits because we're not in the context of the image field here. We're in the context of just files. And this screen doesn't know where the file is used. It doesn't know that it's attached as an image. I guess maybe Drupal has a file usage table, so it can look that up. In fact, that's right, that second to last column used in two places.
Yep.
Ooh, use count 2. That seems odd.
Yeah. The
So
page itself is odd.
That seems like a bug. So I guess the information is there.
Yep.
So you'd have to check the file usage table. I think that's or I think that's the table that generates this information for the used column. So you'd have to check that, check where it's used, figure out what the restrictions are for that field, and then apply those restrictions. So it's technically possible, and I gather you think that it's a good idea to keep those restrictions.
Yep.
And Simo points out that in some cases it can lead to serious problems if not.
There are two more points I would like to raise in the context of that patch.
Go ahead.
It's about the microcopy. At the moment, if you take a look here, we have the options edit and delete. While if we go over here to media, we also have edit and delete. But if you click here to edit, you get the image, the alt text, revisions, URL alias, authoring everything you associate with technically an edit option. While if you go over here to the files and click here, edit, you only get, although the H1 says it's about edit, but technically the whole content of that page is just replace. So it's a disconnect between what's the label and what the page actually is about. It's about replacing, not about editing. So my suggestion would be here to replace Kirby test JPEG in the H1 and also change the label from edit to replace. It's direct. And at the moment, it's more or less hidden that under edit, you have to know that in the context of files, it's about replacing, not about editing. That is the one thing. And also, from my perspective, it's out of the scope for this issue, but I would consider it quite useful for a media item. Aside the option delete and edit, also add an option to replace. So the same
Actually,
functionality you have for files.
Can you click on edit again?
Yep.
So we're editing the media item, and we can get from here to the delete tab. So the same options that are available under the drop button are available as tabs here or as local tasks. And there's also the revisions tab.
Yeah.
So I would say that we should do the same thing for the files that, and I agree with you that replace is a better label. And if you're on the replace tab, then you should also have.
Yeah, it's understand. On the replace tab, also have a delete tab. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, about my suggestion, adding an option for replace, technically you're able to replace an image by removing the image and re-adding it. So probably, yeah, I think I redraw my point here of the follow-up issue. It doesn't add much benefit then. Okay, anything else to raise in this context?
I can't think of anything else. Email.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
So to summarize the points, so simply first on change the label from edit to replace, and the H1 also edit to replace, add local items for replace and delete, and mind the memory limits as well as avoid the temporary status. Avoid the error message by managing changing the file name. Those are basically the points.
Right.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, then I'll write the comments.
Thank you, Ralph.
And just one brief question to the one point I asked during the week about the not available option from a list of default values for a required Boolean field. The issue, one follow-up we've created and discussed.
So for the recording, what's the issue number?
Oh, sorry, it's 3461121. And the question was simply on required fields, there was that not available option. We've agreed on to drop, but on the issue, the person who created the merge request also suggested and also implemented to remove that option from the not if the field is not, the Boolean field is not required, to remove that NA option there as well, because that NA option isn't stored in a database and it doesn't bring any benefit. And we've all, as far as I remember, we only discussed the required Boolean field and not the non-required. And therefore, I just wanted to run it by the rest of you. But I agree that the NA doesn't make much sense for the non-required Boolean field as well.
Right. And I think the only reason that you mentioned required is that the issue that this came from was talking about required Boolean fields. So this is really an issue about default values for Boolean fields. It has nothing to do with required. So yeah, we should update the title and remove it in all cases.
Yeah, and another person mentioned also that it's not only those radio buttons you have not only on Boolean fields, but also on list fields. And there, the NA is also in place. And in a follow-up, that could be tackled there as well to make it consistent.
That sounds reasonable. I'd want to look at it a little more closely before agreeing, but that sounds reasonable.
Yeah. I think I've also linked 2 videos on Slack, if I remember correctly. Where is it? Yeah, on here. That video is and on here you have and there you have the NA.
I'm sorry, what's the point of these videos? Or are you?
It's just demonstrating the Boolean field with the patch applied next to the list field, to one of the list fields that doesn't have that patch or that change. And
Okay.
it demonstrates how VoiceOver is announcing both cases. So that was the point of the video.
Okay, I didn't hear the audio from your video.
Oh, I apologies. I have my earphones on and yeah, forgot about them.
Okay, but yeah, I do see the textual representation of.
I've posted the link to the thread where you can access the both videos.
Okay. We are at the top of the hour. So thanks. Again, I won't be here next week. And we could just skip the meeting. Or it would be nice if someone could just post their reminder in Slack 10 minutes before the meeting, or ping the people who asked to be pinged after the Slack bot posts the reminder.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thanks.
I'll be there. Okay. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice
And
weekend.
I'll
Bye.
be back in 2 weeks. Bye.